Greetings, fellow English-speaking Cameroonians. Today, I would love for us to have another very interesting conversation that will dive into the nitty-gritty of some of the internal challenges that are affecting our growth significantly. I would like for us to identify some of the key indicators. But most importantly, I encourage everyone watching this video to come with an open mind. If you have a closed mind, that is, you have a point that you've set your mind on and you can't change it, then this video is not for you. I encourage you to skip it right now. But if you have an open mind to think critically and analyze the circumstances with which we find ourselves, then this is the right video for you. One of the things that we admire about the West, where most of us find ourselves, including those advocating for the struggle back home, why we love these nations and we see these nations as a place of refuge is because these nations went through challenges in the past and overcame those challenges and built their nation so beautiful that we desire to travel to those nations, and we call it bush falling. Like you've traveled to the most beautiful place, better than where you found yourself or better than where you grew up. And some of the motivations as to why our country should be better comes from the very fundamental aspect that we see something better in other countries that we wish we had. It could be democracy, it could be roads, it could be jobs, it could be opportunities that we internally crave. Don't you really feel deep inside your heart that the same tech jobs that you see in America, you should have those opportunities back home? Don't you feel like you should be the CEO of one of those Fortune 500 companies that you desire to work for? The question is, how do you go about achieving that? Because underneath our grievances is the frustration that you are not getting what you think you desire in life. Is that true? If that is the case, then we should go and look at the root cause. We should really dig deep and search and ask questions to find out the root cause of some of these problems that are hindering our own development. There are some videos that I want us to react to. Look at those videos, listen to what people are saying, and be able to make that analysis. Again, everyone should come here with an open mind. Even if you have whatever grievance in your heart, whether you feel like somebody has killed your mom, killed your dad, destroyed your life, messed you up, I say come with an open mind so that we can think together. Recently, we heard about Sylvester Madu that was in Bamenda. And we also heard that there was an attempt to kill him. And right now, I watched a video today about the Biafrans or some Nigerians. They have some grievances in their heart regarding that issue. It baffled me because I thought the Biafrans were not for Nigeria, but they felt like Ambazonians shouldn't have attacked a Nigerian. And they said he was an Igbo. But it's a little bit confusing. There's a lot of complexities within the story. But I would love for us to listen to what this leader from the Biafra movement has to say. And then when we come back, we'll make our comments. There's a lot for us to unpack today. So fasten your seatbelt and let's dive into this video. So take a watch.
I won't talk. I don't study reactions based on waiting the warning why I give yesterday. Based on the warning why I give yesterday. Now, freedom fighting. No be to come dey kill people. They kill people, your own people. People wey know when they come for their business. People wey they come for their own business. No, that one no be freedom fighting. As I dey warn the threat wey interim government of Ambazonia, they threaten to kill 2 of our brothers. We won't come their side for sports. Now another one happen. Where some of una idiots won't go kill Sylvester Madu. These 3 people na Igbo people. Una no dey fear. Una no dey fear. Amba people una no dey fear. Una no dey fear at all. At all. Now, tell me, Sylvester Madu, na Paul Biya call am. Na Paul Biya call am. Na Paul Biya go visit. If the saying when they did the half film, na where they fight, na battleground where they fight, bullet touch am, we no say that one. Na another thing. You went there to go and attack him, to go and kill him. Una go there to go kill him. Una dey mad, una dey mad. Una dey mad. Now, for what some of you don't know, I'm talking to your leaders now. Your leaders when they're abroad now, make them warn una. Then they're abroad. Una move one day for here. Now our territory now they can't hide. Now our territory now they can't hide. If una push me, if una push me, na control I go make like this, they go catch all of una. For where una they hide? For Ikom, for Boki, for Akampa. For one they hide. For Banliku, for one they hide for Ibaka. Na control I go put, they go tie on a rope. They go tie many of you they go tie on a rope. If we start, you know say you una people plenty pass for here. Now here una they come hide, one I don't commit crime finish for that place. Say that if you don't fight, they're gonna go wrong, come our place, come hide. Many of una, the way I take they help some of una, the way I go take destroy now. Now the way I go take destroy now. I get good mind, I get bad mind. I get good mind, I get bad mind. Don't push us to the wall. Don't push us to the wall. When they kidnap some of our people, they get complaint. If I go to this particular page, I see complaints. If I check my personal account, I see messages of some of our people, some relations where they kidnap their people for an aside there. People go do timber business for them, and I go carry them. Now kidnap all those things with the marker, with the keeper, on a cop the fool. Una cop the fool. This Amber boys, una cop the fool. Una cop done the fool. Waiting 7 and now waiting just 7 and say Sylvester Madu say una no kill am. Say Sylvester Madu say bullet no touch am. Like say bullet touch am. By now. Una go run comot for Cross River. Una go run comot for Akwa Ibom. Run comot for Ibaka. Una go comot for there. Some of una wey don invade our community for Boki before, we keep quiet. If we invade una na die o, na die. Moko na fight Cameroonian government. Fight Cameroonian government, leave people wey come for their business. Fight Cameroonian government. If somebody is not sabotaging what you are fighting for, leave the person. Nigeria stand, leave the person. If you never talk anything against your struggle, leave the person. Why hunting the person? Because he come your place, can't shoot film. Because he come your place, can't shoot film. Una people know they come here. How many times don't you say people from English speaking come for our territory? Say we hammer. Instead, we will carry a house owner. All these things, una being great too. Una being great. Ambazonia leaders, before it gets worse, to warn their boys. Warn your boys. Una they claim hard guy, they claim fighters na that side though. Warn your boys oh. I know where all of na they hide though. I know where na they hide. Make I no go, make I no pull control. They catch una on a rope. Because when I begin to hear bad news, I no go listen to anybody. I will not listen to anybody. you dey trade, dey kill, dey whatever you are doing, no do near where our people dey. No do near where our people dey. Do am for your people there, as na dey kill una sef there, as na dey fight for there, dey turn una sef, more na dey kill una sef dey go. But do where our people dey. Una go see wetin una never see before. Na warning, na serious warning. Na serious warning. And why I dey warn una? Because I know where all of una dey hide. I know where all of una dey hide. No nook and cranny where I no know where una dey hide. Don't push me to the wall. Make we no do wetin una no go like. I know say there are good ones. Good ones. When they close, when they close to us, when they close to me, but don't destroy what you have built.
Okay. So, listening to what this man from Nigeria is saying, you watching this video, I want to ask you a question. What does this mean to you? Because some of the things I heard was we are trying to pass a message to Nigeria that we have a war zone. I want us to break down this entire incident and analyze it simultaneously. From what I heard, the Amber guys that went into that bar are some of the formidable forces from Bafut. And they are deemed to be one of the most dangerous forces within the Amber movement. And they went to a bar to carry out a kidnap operation. And they did not succeed to kidnap Sylvester Madu. I don't endorse kidnapping, but I'm just looking at the strength of the soldiers, looking at the situation that they had at hand. And they did not succeed to kidnap Sylvester Madu. My question to all of us listening to this is like, because some of us are contributing money with the hope that our forces will bring peace. They will be able to help us gain freedom and independence so that our territory, Ambazonia, can be free. These are forces that have been drilled and fighting for 7 years. And these forces walk into a bar and they cannot carry out a successful kidnap. And the bar owner can shield Sylvester Madu, call for the police, and then they came, the Amber guys ran, killing our own civilians. I want you guys to reason this. Let's not pocket our brains because, guys, even the most brutal soldiers on earth, when they are on the battlefield and they realize that there's a gridlock, they retreat and just internalize and understand and analyze what is going on before they keep fighting. There is no battle that you keep fighting, and even when you have a gridlock, you don't retreat and think before you continue fighting. These guys went into that bar and they could not carry out a successful kidnap. I have 2 of my Israeli friends that if 3 of us get into that place, we would have come out with that guy. I don't care what you guys are saying. If we went into that bar to carry out a kidnap, we would have brought that guy out. But we have a formidable force, one of the most brutal force. They came to carry out a kidnap of an actor, and they did not succeed. If Nigerian kidnappers got into that scene, they would have collected that guy. And I just want to let you guys understand the gravity of what we are dealing with. When the military came, they are all gone and they left. They did not stand there and face the military and make sure that they stand their ground. This guy came in Abakwa, in Bamenda. And they could not succeed in that mission. How can you win in another territory? Even if in your own territory, you cannot carry out a successful kidnap. When they kidnapped Seseko and the rest in Nigeria, it was a smooth and successful operation. And not even one civilian in Nigeria was killed. They met their target and they carried out their operation, and it was smooth. Our forces have been trained for 7 years. They have been in this battle. And yet they were not experienced enough to carry out that operation without killing one citizen. They did not succeed in the kidnap. And yet we have our own people dead. This is the reality of what we are dealing with. And I repeat, two of my Israeli friends, if we got into that place, we would have carried out that operation successfully. I don't care who you say was on the way or standing on that place. We would have gone in and we would have carried out that operation smooth and successfully without killing anybody. But yet, we trust on these forces to bring about liberation. And after that, we think we are passing across a message to Nigerians when we don't have this guy in your custody. And your own people are dead. I want us to think. This brain is the only thing that God has blessed us with. God never gave us strength like animals. So the most formidable gift that we have is our brain. And failing to use it means we are going to be backwards for a very long time. Now, I would like for us to listen to another video, and then I will make my remark, and then we will proceed. Remember, I just want to let every Cameroonian understand who I am and why I'm saying the things I'm saying. I've been studying on liberating Cameroon for about 7 years now. For over 7 years, I've been studying on how to liberate Cameroon. And the blueprint that I'm outlining for the liberation of that nation can work if we choose to listen, use our brain, and change our ways. I have studied way back in the 14th centuries to look at nations, the challenges that they faced, how they overcame their challenges, and how they were able to be prosperous, and how we admire them today. You cannot just look at a Western nation and how successful they are and think, oh, maybe if we just pick what they are experiencing right now and plug it in Cameroon, it is going to work for us, and we will be so happy and blessed in Ambazonia. That is not real. I repeat, that is not real. The Portuguese came to Cameroon in 1472. In 1472, the Portuguese came to Cameroon and they named Cameroon River of Crowns. We had a lot of crayfish around Douala, so they explored our territory and they named Cameroon River of Crowns. Now, because of diseases and like malaria and the rest, and typhoid and cholera, they could not settle in Cameroon. And so they left. The Germans came in 1884. Because some people say, oh, you don't know your history. I know my history. The Germans came in 1884 and colonized Cameroon. And they stayed there. We were speaking German. Because the history I'm hearing today, I ask myself the question, is this the history of Cameroon? We need to go back to our history book. The history of Cameroon did not start in 1960 or 1961 or 1959. The history of Cameroon goes way back. And the first recorded memory regarding colonialism started with the Portuguese in 1472. So all young and fellow Cameroonians growing up, I would love for you guys to understand your history. Even if you choose to take another path, but understand the reality of your existence. And then ask yourself the question, the fight that you're really holding so strong right now, is it worth it? I want to make sure that we got this right. In 1472, the Portuguese arrived the shores of Cameroon, Douala to be specific, and they found crayfish around River Wuri, and so they named us Rivers of Crowns. This is our history. And the Portuguese could not stay in Cameroon because of diseases such as malaria, cholera, and the rest, and so they left. In 1884, the Germans came and annexed Cameroon. What we call British Cameroon today and French Cameroon were all one nation under Germans. Now, the Germans were in Cameroon right up to 1916. There was the outbreak of the First World War in 1914. And so we realized that by 1919, at the end of the First World War, we realized that the superpowers seized all former German territories in Africa. And as they seized all former German territories in Africa, they divided these territories within themselves, the superpowers, that including Britain and France. And now they partitioned these territories among themselves. The reason why I'm saying this is for us to understand our history, our evolution. And then we will realize that under the League of Nations, all these former German territories were now administered by the superpowers. And that era was called the Mandate era. And then we realized that there was the outbreak of the Second World War. After the end of the Second World War, we realized that all of these territories now were placed under another system called the trusteeship system. The trusteeship means they were preparing these former territories for independence. Ghana had their independence in 1957. Guys, if I'm actually understanding what is going on here, Africa is trying as much as possible to be united today. That is, they want to be able to cancel every memory of colonialism, to cancel every memory of slavery and slave trade. So what I hear is, Ambazonia, we are picking up this fight today to say we want to build our nation on the foundation or the demarcations laid down by our colonial masters, by Britain and France. That is the foundation. We are willing to fight and kill each other on that demarcation, on the foundation laid by our colonial masters. If you love Africa, if you are a pan-Africanist, if you want to see Africa emerge as this one powerful giant continent or one powerful giant country, and you are insisting on division, insisting on separation, insisting on creating another nation within Africa, which is going to further our division, our divisiveness, our disunity, what are we doing? And not only that, that's why I want us to really understand what we are dealing with. Not only that, we are traveling to Canada and we're trying to call the Canadians to come to our aid. The same people that we are blaming for the cause of all our problems, we are running to them for help. Not only that, these people were not alive when these problems happened. The present people in Canada and Europe in general were not present when this happened. Now we are going to their grandchildren, our colonizers' grandchildren or great-grandchildren, and saying there's a problem in our land caused by your great-grandfather, and we want you to come take a look at. They have to go in and dig in the files to even read and understand the history of what you're even talking about. And these are the people that we run to for help. Let's think about this. Let's think about this for a moment. Imagine that Canada helps us and we gain independence. And they turn out to say, hey, we helped you during when you were fighting with your brother. And with that, we have a stake on your country. And so you owe us. And now we have to allow Canada to be in our land to do whatever they want because we owe them for the help that they gave us during the era when we were fighting our fellow brothers. Are you guys understanding what we are doing right here? That is the reality. And so what are we going to do? We are going to further the strength of colonialism. Now, this is making me to question some of the ideologies that we hold about slavery and slave trade happening in Africa, and we have nothing to do with it. Right? If we put a delegation together, travel to Canada to call for the Canadians to come help us, And then tomorrow we stand up and say, hey, these people came and infiltrated our land. It makes me to understand that we feel like we are incompetent, we are not capable enough to take care of ourselves. And so the whole Ambazonian struggle strategy is not that we are competent enough to gain this independence. It's not based on the premise that we are competent enough to fight the French and take our territory. Is based on the fact that we will kill enough of our people so that international community and other countries around the world will look to our direction to ask the question, what is going on? And they will jump in and be able to grant us that independence. This is the hope that the entire Ambazonian struggle is built on. Me, with a rational mind and a critical thinker, will look at this situation and say, there is no hope here. There is no strategy here. People are just dying for nothing. You are building the entire Ambazonian struggle on gaining the sympathy of the international community to come to your aid. And somehow we are not sure whether the conclusion they will arrive at is to grant us independence, but so that they can look at us and look at our situation. This is a pathetic journey. This is a pathetic idea. And again, most of our leaders have been asked the question, how long do you think this struggle is going to last? And they say they don't know. We will keep fighting until we gain our freedom. This is our own brothers, fellow black people like us, that we are fighting. The worst of it all is the casualties, the people dying more in this struggle is our own people. The English-speaking people are the ones that have died the most in this struggle than the French that we are fighting. I just want to let every English-speaking Cameroonian to understand that you will have the worst system if at all we gain this independence. These leaders will terrorize you in the way that you've never seen when you get this independence. I'm talking to the folks back home. If you are in Cameroon, I want to talk to you. I just want to talk to the people abroad because they can gain their citizenship in those countries where they find themselves. And so they can be free to live abroad forever and never come back home. So I'm talking to you guys because I care about where I was born. I care about that land. I care about my people. The issue of leadership is a problem that every African nation is facing. Just step back and look at it. Every African nation is facing the same problem of leadership that Cameroon is facing. Every country in Africa is facing the same struggles and poverty that Cameroon is facing. The GDP of that entire continent is 3.1 trillion. That indicates that every country in that continent has a problem. French Cameroon has a problem. Some of your leaders know that the roads in French Cameroon are not constructed. They are not built. They have problems just like us. So every part of that nation has an issue. And I want to say, it is the responsibility of us, the people of Cameroon, to build our country. Depending on our leaders to build our nation is a story that we will keep singing and telling ourselves, and it will take us nowhere. Some people are praying that Paul Biya should die. If Paul Biya dies, things will be better, and they will be able to just dismantle the entire nation, and things will go the way that they want. And I want to let you know that even if Paul Biya dies, you should know the history of that nation enough. You guys are smart. You know what happened with Ahidjo. And I think many people were thinking that if Ahidjo is not in power, then we will be able to have Ambazonia. You realize that the death of Ahidjo, or Ahidjo coming down from power, there was a smooth transition as to the power moving from one hand to the other. And I just want to let you know that there will be a smooth transition of that power from Paul Biya to the next leader of that nation. And if you think the death of Paul Biya will change things, I want you to think about if the death of Ahidjo changed things. This is the reality some of you need to come to terms with. All of us, we need to come to terms with. That is why I'm analyzing this thing from a neutral perspective, just bringing out facts and figures, just helping us to have perspective and look at what we are really dealing with. And I want to ask the question to the Northwesterners, English-speaking Cameroonians from the Northwest. Could it be that the problems that you guys are dealing with is internal and it's coming from your villages and your chiefs and your phones? And not that they are part of La Republic. No. That is not what I'm saying. Not because they've given them positions in La Republic. No. Could it be that the customs and cultures that we have is a hindrance to our own development? Because I ask, but why is it that we don't have any major city in the whole of Northwest other than Bamenda? Why? Unlike in the Southwest, we have Boya, we have Kumba, we have Limbe, we have Mutengene. Why is it that we don't have major cities other than Bamenda? We don't have other major cities within Northwest like the Southwest? Could it be that we are closing up doors for opportunities in our own region that could lead to development? Why is Bamenda the only major city? Because I want to be able to see Kambe, a major city. I want to be able to see Momo, a major city. Bui, a major city. A place where you can decide to travel, go live there and have the same amenities like you can find in Bamenda, the main city. Could it be that our own problem is coming in from an internal cause and not external? And yet it is easy, because the easiest thing is to blame somebody out there and not look within yourself and ask a question, could it be a problem that we are dealing with internally? I want us to think for a little bit. Because some of the thinking that we have is that the people from our tribes are the people that will develop their own village. And so because of that, we don't allow people from other villages to come into our own village and bring about development. Not understanding or failing to understand that it is this integration of having other people from other tribes, other villages, other countries come into your village, bring new ideas that will bring about development. And yet we close that gate and we think maybe allowing an outsider to come into your tribe, we don't want that. And yet we wonder why we don't have development. Could it be that there's gold, there are resources, there's a lot for us to explore in Northwest, and yet we have not tapped that? And all we are looking at is Southwest, looking at oil as a source of development or the reason why we are not successful in the Northwest. Could that be the case? Could it be that there are some customs and traditions that are holding us back? Have we thought about that? We've never thought of our phones coming down from power after 4 years. But yet they have policies that govern our region. They have laws and customs that govern our region. Remember that it was a strategy that Angwafo came about with, Angwafo III. After traveling to Nigeria and looking at other developing villages and countries and nations, he came back and said, I'll allow every other village to settle in Mankon. And he even said something that they said, oh, the Meta people are settling a lot in Meta quarters, and they have named Meta quarters. So be watch out. He said, I'm not worried. As long as they don't name it Meta quarters in the borders, if they name it Meta quarters in the middle of my city, I'm not worried about that. And he opened up his village, and that is why we see development happening in Mankon, and it is spreading to other neighboring villages like Nkwen around Mankon. Could it be that our own customs and tradition is a hindrance? Because when I was researching to understand how other nations dealt with the problems we are dealing with, I realized that tribalism, villages, has been one of the hindrances of many developments in history. I repeat, tribalism, villages, cultures that we hold so strong has been one of the hindrances to development throughout history. France faced a similar problem, and they had to dismantle all those tribes and have the entire nation of France speaking one language. And because of that unity, they were able to dominate other nations across the world, including us thinking Cameroon is where it is today because of France. And I just want to say something, guys. This is the reality. When someone deals with you or really hurts you in a transaction and you feel like you're down because of them, study the strategy they use to place you in that position that you feel marginalized. Don't just blame them and be quiet. No, study them, because if someone hurts me, I'm going to think of how they dealt with me, that I felt that degree of pain because of whatever they did to me. We've never sat down to ask the question, how are they doing it? How did France do it? How did they take over a whole continent? We've never thought about that, right? No, really think about their strategies, and let's have a conversation on the strategies that France used to have this hold on us. They turned all their villages into monarchs. They turned all their villages and their monarchy into a museum. They turned everything that was holding them back into a museum for historical purposes, that people just go there and watch those places, but they will not worship those gods, and they will not subject themselves to something that is hindering their unity. That is what France did. It's history. It's not coming from me. It's history. France, America had to diffuse all those tribes within America to make sure that America was speaking one language. You can say, oh, there's Spanish today, but predominantly America speaks English. And it was strategic. They intentionally did it on purpose to achieve that unified America. That today a president don't have to stand up to make a speech and you have an interpreter, because the predominant language in this country is English. Copy what works. Copy what works. So if someone believes in the unity of Africa, and then you want to think that the Europeans or Canadians should come to your aid in Africa when you have other big African nations, there's a problem with that picture. If you believe that someday what a Canadian will say over your territory will help you to gain freedom, there is a problem with that thinking. I love the West. Don't get me wrong. I don't blame them. I study them. I love them so much because of their ideas and how they have been able to transform the world to what we see today. But if in this 21st century, we think that what Canada, what Britain, what America says over Cameroon can bring peace and restore Ambazonia, there's a problem with that picture. Count your cost before you start a fight. And if you will not win to the end, don't start it. And if you start it, have a strategy to win. Most importantly, have a date limit. If you go to school, you know that after 4 years, you graduate from university. You decide to go do a master's, you know it's 2 years. You want to do a PhD, it's 2 years. You know when you're starting and you know when you will end. Before you start a fight, understand what you will need to fight that fight and when that fight will end. And most importantly, the strategy that you will use to win that fight, because it is that strategy that will give the people the energy to think that this fight is even a possibility. Are you guys picking what I'm laying on the ground? And if after 7 years of fighting and our fighters cannot carry out a successful kidnap in a place where there was no military, I want you to question the strength of those soldiers and what you are investing in. So guys, I want us to be able to look at our reality, because that's life, right? The Albert Einstein said insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. You do it, you kill your own people, and you're expecting a different result. There are headlines everywhere. Today, we are in the 21st century. What goes around? The reason for every killing in Ambazonia is being recorded. You can say, oh, it's the military. You can kill your own people and put it on the military, or the military kill your own people. Whatever the situation is on the ground, I want to let you understand that what goes around, and the international community or France, they are not dumb, or Canada or United States. They see what is happening. They know what is happening. They listen to your speeches. They listen to your speeches. You guys speak in English and not any native language. And so they understand what you're saying. So when you instigate violence, you talk about violence, you command people to go kill other people, they listen to that. And when you come into their offices, they're just going to go on YouTube and just listen to what you're saying. Now, the people have been silenced. They can't even talk. And when we hear about people that are really being killed, we're hearing about the Ambazonian fighters. But if you hear about our own people, they are mostly killed by us. This is the reality that we are dealing with on the ground. And again, I want to ask us, could it be that our culture, because we have not really thought about it, right? That why is it that we have our funds and after 4 years, they don't change power? And yet they have very strong customs and cultures that control our lives. How we dance, how we celebrate our funerals, how we celebrate a wedding, traditional wedding. All of these people have a hold on us. They have a hold on us. Their cultures, their customs, their belief systems govern us. Have you asked about all the rituals that we perform, that all the Mexican people, the voodoo people? Have we thought about the effect that they have on our community and on our thinking and on our lives? It's huge to our own development. These things that you despise held Franks down. And when they got rid of them, they experienced abundance because they walked as one. For a development project to take place in Northwest, we shouldn't have any village be a hindrance to that development. I repeat, for us to have a development project in Northwest, no village should be able to hinder that development. We should be able to penetrate every corner of Northwest and be able to carry out a development project for the good of the entire Northwest and for the good of the entire nation of Cameroon. We should not be hindered by someone who thinks this is my place, this is my land, and they speak their tribal languages, and they will use that to put you out of that village. And so development will be restricted, and our entire region will be there, will be stagnant, will remain in poverty and stagnation, and yet we will think, what is the cause of our own demise? Why is it that we travel to the Southwest and we enjoy the kind of privilege that we do? You can travel anywhere in the Southwest, buy land, the land is open, the people are welcoming, we can go everywhere. Why is it that we don't have that? And as we think of division, why is it that we feel like in Northwest, we always want to close? We don't think of expansion. Is it like something that is rooted in our subconscious mind that we should close, just like we are closed with each other? All the villages are closed. We don't want to let people come in, either through our behaviors or our culture and our customs. Could it be that we want to separate the country just because underneath our subconscious, our DNA, what our great-grandparents transferred to us is that DNA of closeness? Close your borders. Be careful of one another. Be suspicious of one another. Can it be that is the root cause of our problem? And that is why we feel this pain so much about what is going on in our nation. We are very scared of expansion. Northwest is very scared of expansion. We want to close. And so if we cut the nation and just come together, let's just stay here. This is the season that I want to employ every young man in Cameroon. Think for yourself. Don't be caught up in dogma, which is living by other people's opinions and other people's ideas and other people's philosophy. Think for yourself. Integrate with everyone and anyone that means well for you. Our celebrities, our artists, the Mr. Leos, They caught this. They realized that trying to stay by ourselves is not helping. Just to stay within our own group is not helping. And they started learning French and singing in French, and it opened up a lot of opportunities for them. At the same year where we were fighting, when we started creating all of this animosity among each other, they were creating songs that same year, singing in English and French, and today they are superstars. And most of our brothers are dead. Some of them are in the grave. Some of them are in pain. Some of us are still grieving. And we think that maybe being closed will help us to gain more. When you are closed, you always get little. When you expand, you get more. And that is why you see America is open. They have people from every corner of the earth helping them to develop their nation, work for them so they can do other important things that they deem necessary. And then they are open and other people come in and they work for them. Do we see all of this? You must not do everything by yourself. And sometimes we hate France. But when I look at France, I'm looking at their strategy. If you look at the national team of France, they got the World Cup this year. But most of the players, you say they come from other countries. Yes, you will say that. And that is what leverage is all about. If you're a business owner, you know what leverage is. America is leveraging other people's talents across the world, and you work here, they pay you a minimum wage, and you take that money and you're happy about it, and their nation is developing. That is leverage. You will say, oh no, but I got to pay, but that's leverage. Whatever you work for, at least you make 10 times that to get the 10% that you go home with, or 20% that you go home with. That is leverage. What the French people have utilized is leverage. Learning how to get other people to work for them. The second richest man in this world is from France. I repeat, the second richest man in the world is from France. Does that tell you something? They're leveraging. In business, it is called leverage. You use other people's money, other people's ideas, other people's strength, other people's talent, other people's time, so that you can be able to build fast. When you're closed, you have to use your time, your effort, your energy, everything. You have to do it by yourself. It is the most strenuous form of development. Today, I deploy the youths of Cameroon. Take your destiny in your hands. Our old folks have failed us. Their ideas don't work. If you hear their strategy for Ambazonia, it will still not help you. That is the fact. The strategy to develop Ambazonia will not help you, a young man growing in the Northwest and Southwest, a young woman growing in the Northwest and Southwest, because it is all about closeness. Let's just come this way. They are not expanding. They are not. Imagine that Ambazonia can devise a word and call La République, a neighboring country, a colonizer. That is the highest degree of closeness that we can ever attain or achieve in our thinking. I will never call La République a colonizer. So what you are saying is they have enough power and strength to hold you down in such a way you cannot rise. When you play a victim, guys, it disempowers you psychologically. When you assume the status of a victim, that La République infiltrated your land and has this much power to subjugate you, accepting the status of victim disempowers you mentally, even to fight or thrive and become a better person. That is what victimhood does for you. Research it. It is proven globally. All the sciences illustrate this. When you assume the status of victimhood, it cripples you mentally to even thrive in a society. No matter how much money you have in your pocket, if you assume the status of a victim, you are defeated psychologically. So I will never assume that La République or French-speaking Cameroonians are colonizers. That is defeating for me. When you say the British came and colonized you, yeah, we can accept that. If you say the French came and colonized you, yeah, we can accept that. If you say La République, the French-speaking Cameroonians colonized you, that is defeating all by itself. So there is no way for you to even think of fighting them. That is why you rely on other nations to come to your aid. And you're crying and you go to them. It is a shame. It is a shame. Think strategically if you want to really make this negotiation a possibility. If you want to make this negotiation a possibility, think strategically to negotiate or find your way within that nation and be able to grant yourself that independence if you think it's even necessary. You can negotiate it if you can. Can you do that? You want to fight for it? Okay, go strategize and fight for it if you can. Do that without any of your own people dying. I'll applaud you. As long as one person dies in Cameroon, dies in Ambazonia, as long as Ambazonians die, I'm letting you understand that, guys, this thing is going nowhere. As long as citizens of the so-called Ambazonia dies, I understand deep in your psychology that you are defeated and you cannot win all by yourself. You can't fight to really claim that territory all by yourself. You need to kill your own people to prove or call someone to come see you in pain. Wow. Is this how low we've stooped? Is this how low we've come? Is this how defeating we can be able to cripple our own selves mentally? Cripple our own thinking. Take 7 years to brainwash our people and make them feel like they're worthless and helpless and they are handicaps. And they have been placed in a position where they think that their land was infiltrated and they could not do anything for the past 60 years. And so they are victims of this circumstance. That is what we have done to our people for the past 7 years. The mental strength that they had prior to this struggle was even powerful for them to step out there and fight and build and do something for themselves. This entire ideology of calling La République a colonizer, getting into their territory and holding them down for close to 60 years or 63 years is the most crippling concept that we can ever devise. Think about it. This is 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I'm up talking to this camera to you guys. Just to let you know that I love us so much and we can clean up this mess, count our losses, and move on to building a better nation. A free enterprise Northwest and Southwest that will eventually spread to the rest of Cameroon. We will leave no place in that nation untouched. We will leave no place in that nation untouched with a free enterprise system. All the money that we have donated towards fighting, if we were buying machines to cultivate maize, we would have been extremely wealthy by now. All the money that we have donated towards fighting, if we donated that money and bought tractors, machineries for plantation agriculture, we would have been extremely rich by now. To cripple the minds of English-speaking Cameroonians and give them a status of victims is the most crippling concept, is the most lame concept that we can ever devise. We are bigger than this. If there is anything that someone should label you in life, it should never be a victim. Never refuse to accept the status of a victim. I've read about 12 books only on this subject of victimhood. It is crippling to the core because it totally takes away your own power to rise. Look at history. Look at history. The Germans never said we are victims because we caused the war. They went out and just put their heads on the ground and started building their economy. Look at Germany. Imagine that for this past 60 years, all we did was look for every means possible to develop our side of the country. Because the Yaoundé people have to take care of their own area. The Douala people have to take care of their own area. Every region of that nation have to take care of their own area. And so we have to do with ours. But I've identified a lot of hindrances that we have on our own way. And tribalism and tribes and villages is one of them. The customs and cultures that we hold so strong as something that we can never let go is one of them. We are bigger than this, guys. We are bigger than this. And again, I want to say to every civilian in Northwest and Southwest, buy your guns. Subscribe on my channel. I'm going to be teaching you guys Krav Maga. Krav Maga is an Israeli martial art that was developed during an era where the Israelis felt like they could not protect themselves and every nation will crush them. In spite of them having money, yet they were being defeated by other nations. And so they came up with this self-defense strategy. Subscribe to this channel. In less than a month from now, within a month, you'll be able to know how to defend yourself. And if you have a gun with the self-defense classes that I'll be teaching on this channel, you'll be able to defeat every enemy that infiltrates your premise or break into your house. And that is my goal. I'll speak to you guys politely, but I'm not going to smile with anyone that tries to kill their own people, subjugate them, give them a status of victimhood, make them feel like they are powerless and they have been crippled mentally because of this ideology. This is how Hitler, one man, was able to amass pain in his heart and spread it across the whole nation, and everybody was grieving and coming out and having all this pain in their hearts and going out there and killing people. I say no to that. I say no to that, not on my watch. So every civilian, I've heard your cry. I've heard the pain that you guys are going through. And nobody is able to speak for you guys. Just subscribe to this channel and keep watching and practicing everything that I'm teaching you guys. Buy your guns and protect yourself. In public, have your guns. An unknown gunman arrives in your company and tries to kill someone. Make sure that they never go back alive. Kill all of them. Most of these guys are amateurs. If they could not go in there and kidnap one man, they will just terrorize you and kill you because they have guns. They are not skilled. They are not trained enough by experts that they can be able to carry out this kind of operation successfully. That is proof. Get your guns. Protect yourself. They can never be more than the public. The people always have power. The people are always many. And what you've done with Cameroon is sign a social contract. And that is why some of you don't bear arms. You sign a social contract. Then that social contract says the government is supposed to protect you. The police is supposed to protect you. The army is supposed to protect you. Now, what do you do in a state where we have other groups within that same nation with guns and they can carry out other operations? Protect yourself. Don't die and say, oh, it's better you have a gun and die and protecting yourself than stay in your house not knowing that the next morning you can stand up alive. You'll be killed in your sleep. So get a gun and protect yourself. And crush anyone that comes your path and attempts to kill you. Make sure that they never go back alive. If they kill two, make sure that none of them leave alive. Every civilian, get a gun and subscribe to this channel and just keep watching what I'm training you guys. There will be a Krav Maga session. The Israeli today are one of the most formidable forces on earth. If they fall on your nation, you guys are going to feel it so bad. And they have been trained. Every young child in the Middle East, in Israel, study Krav Maga. And I have studied their culture. I've gone in there and I've been training with them for a long time. I've been training with them. And like I'm saying, 2 guys with me, 3 of us, if we went in there, that operation would have been successful. But we have soldiers that came with guns, ambas that came with guns, but yet could not live with that guy. Get your guns and protect yourselves from these thugs. And make sure that anyone that infiltrates your privacy never goes back alive. It is a state of emergency. You are not safe. Protect yourself. And as we hear of our citizens and our civilians dying, it makes us understand how these people are incompetent to protect you. I repeat, when we hear one citizen dying from the hand of our own people, it tells us that they are incompetent to protect you, talk less, give you independence. I repeat, when we hear stories of our own people dying, it proves to the entire world that these guys are incompetent to protect their own people, talk less, give you independence. And again, if you are a soldier, because I've seen soldiers that have gone to the DDR camp and they surrender their weapons and they say the reason why they picked up arms is because their brothers in the diaspora convinced them to go fight. And I just want to say this. If you pick up arms to go fight and kill your brothers, I just want to let you know, take responsibility for your actions. You never hear a soldier in the diaspora or the soldier goes to battle, gets killed, and then their family turns to blame the government that they enrolled that soldier. No, you take responsibility. You chose to go fight. And if you chose to go fight and you're caught or you feel like you want to surrender, take responsibility for your actions. Don't blame anyone. No one in the diaspora forced you to pick up a gun and go fight. You choose that path. And it's the same thing I'm saying to everyone who is a soldier, who claim to be a soldier on the ground. If you go out to go kill someone, don't say someone in the diaspora told you to go kill someone. Take responsibility for your actions. Because when they meet you at gunpoint, they kill you. They don't kill someone in the diaspora. When they meet you at gunpoint, they take you down. And your family will pick up your remains and go bury you. Take responsibility for your actions. You chose to go fight for a nation that you believe in and not someone in the diaspora. Someone in the diaspora should not persuade you to go do what you think is wrong. Think for yourself. If you think go fighting is wrong, then don't go fight. If you think go fighting is right, go fight and take responsibility for your actions. Don't blame anyone for killing someone. Don't blame anyone. Because that is what we have been doing in Cameroon, right? We blame everybody. We don't work extremely hard for our own lives to succeed. And at the end of the day, we will blame the president. And then we'll pick up guns to go fight. And then we'll blame the diaspora. That is the reality. We will not work extremely hard. Show up on time. Cut off practices and beliefs that are holding us down. Unite with other people around the world and build. And when our lives are not going on well, we blame the president. And then when you pick up guns and you go fight and then you get caught or you feel like your own brother now is terrorizing you in the battlefield, you give up and then you say your brother in the diaspora caused you to go fight. Do not blame anyone in the diaspora. Take responsibility for your actions. The people in the diaspora might never ever set foot on that ground. And if they incite you to go fight, take responsibility. You believe it was a good idea, so take responsibility for your actions. I'm saying this to every Amba fighter. If you go to fight, believing that it is your right and you're fighting for your nation, take responsibility. I heard one of the leaders of the Ambazonia movement in the diaspora saying that a leader or a president of Ambazonia will be chosen from that land. And so you guys take responsibility for your actions on that land. So they are supporting you for you to fight for what you think you believe in, not for them. They are fighting for you. That is the narrative. The narrative is not they are fighting for themselves. They say they are fighting for you. So when you are going to fight based on the instructions they are giving you, take responsibilities for your actions. Because as the civilians start arming themselves, start getting training and becoming strong, and you show up in their doorsteps and they shoot you or they kill you or beat you mercilessly, take responsibility for your actions. Don't blame anyone. It is a shame for us to use colonial demarcation as the foundation for our nation. It is a shame in the 21st century for us to use colonial demarcation as the foundation, as the substratum of our nation. It is a shame. It is a shame for one of our brothers or sisters to die with the fact that we will assume that other nations will get sympathy on us based on us killing each other to come to our aid. It is a shame. History will never forget your actions. It is a shame. History will never forget what each and every one of you have done to the people of the English-speaking Cameroon. It is a shame. They might be quiet right now because you have guns, but they will speak someday. I repeat, the people of the English-speaking Cameroon that has been misled into this war will speak someday, even though they are quiet right now. Wherever you are in the diaspora, motivating English-speaking Cameroonians to war with the idea that someday they will gain sympathy from a Western nation and come free them. The inhabitants of that land might be quiet right now because you have guns, but one day they will speak. And when they will speak, you will not like it. You and your descendants will not like it. I just want to reiterate that again. Those who are inciting our people to be in war, and some people have said, oh, they thought the war will last in 2 weeks, but now it's 7 years. What is the reward that they have been able to achieve for 7 years when they are crying for peace now? They might be quiet now because you have guns, but they will speak up someday. They will speak up. Not very long from now, they will speak up. As they start getting training, getting their own guns and becoming strong, they will speak up what they really think their experience is in that country. They will speak up. This will not go on forever. I wish everybody instigating violence back home can move. Pack your family, pack your stuff, go down there and fight and prove to the people of Ambazonia that you love them so much that you're willing to lay down your life for them. It is easy to send money because you can always go out there and work some more money. You can go get a job and get a paycheck and get some money. Pack your stuff, go down on the ground and fight with them and prove to us that you love them so much that you're willing to lay down your life for them. I'm talking to everybody in the diaspora that believes that we should have an Ambazonia. Pack your things and prove to us that you believe in that nation that you want to create by going down there and being in the forefront and fighting, and not just arrive there and run away. Go down there, be in the forefront and fight for that freedom that you believe in. Young people, if you don't see anybody in the diaspora that is giving instructions for you to fight on the ground there, do not fight. Do not fight for any nation that they are claiming in the diaspora. Let everyone that is instigating violence or letting you think that they are fighting for you, they believe so much in an Ambazonia, to come down there, be in the forefront and fight with you guys. Alexander the Great was right beside his soldiers fighting. Ibrahim in Burkina Faso was right beside his soldiers fighting, and he is taking over the nation of Burkina Faso. He was not standing from afar in giving instructions. He is in his nation and he is carving a path. Young people of Cameroon, rise up and build your nation. Don't blame your president. Don't blame your leaders. Stand up and do what you think is necessary to bring about development, build industries, build businesses, and transform your nation. And I just want to send this message again to every young person of Cameroon. Rise up, or else in the next 20 years, you will be sending down the same story, saying the same thing to your children about what happened to you when you were young and had the power and did not do anything. All these old folks fighting right now, where were you when you were young? Why didn't you get on the foreground and fight and die for what you believe in? Why did you run away? I'm asking this question to all the old folks right now. If you're in your 50s believing that we should be at war, what did you do when you were in your 20s? Why didn't you fight and die for what you believe in? Why didn't you fight and die and let the whole world know that you love Ambazonia so much that you're willing to lay down your life for it? Why are you in the distance fighting? Why are you not on the ground fighting? Young people, don't fight and die for people that will wait for everything to settle down and they will come in and rule you. Don't fight and die for people that are not willing to stand there with you and fight. And that is my struggle here. It is a good thing for people to spark up a revolution if they want to. But be present and fight. And not say, oh, most revolutions have been fought from afar. No. Napoleon Bonaparte was on the battlefield with his soldiers. Alexander the Great was on the battlefield with his soldiers. Our brother Ibrahim was on the battlefield with his soldiers. Be down there, be on the battlefield and fight. Not just give instructions and run away. Be present and fight. It is easy to buy a green screen on Amazon, put behind your back and have a background and give speeches. Be on the ground and fight. Go down there and fight. I want to see you fighting. I will only respect any leader from the Ambazonia movement if I see you on the battleground calling the shots and fighting and bringing about transformation. I will give you respect, salute. I repeat, I will only respect any leader of the Ambazonia movement in the diaspora if I see you on the ground, on the forefront, calling the shots, having your guns and fighting. I will say salute. I respect you. Even if you die in that act, I will respect you and believe you. As long as you stay behind a green screen wall, I will never ever respect anyone that stays here in the diaspora and is inciting violence to people that he cannot even stand there and fight for them. He cannot stand there and defend them and prove to them that I love you so much that I'm willing to die for you. I believe in this nation and that's why I'm here. I'm here because I believe in this nation and I will die for you. I want to see you down there. Go down there and fight. This is my challenge to you. Go down there and fight. Go down there and fight. You've devised terms like blacklegs to silence people that try to question your motives. You've come up with all kinds of rhetorics to instill the spirit of victimization in our people. Yes, they thought in the beginning it was a good idea because of how you guys paraded social media with all these messages. Now they are realizing. They are realizing that this was all a facade. And people are making money out of this whole system. And they feel like, oh, if we stop this, our source of income is going to cut off. Our source of income. Some of us are making money with people coming to the diaspora through this war. Some of us are making money, smuggling people out of the country. We are making money through this war. A lot of people have made a lot of money through this. It is a money-making scheme. And so stopping this means we are going to stop all this source of income. But you have to really get into your heart and ask yourself the question, are you going to sell your soul to the devil and destroy your people? They don't want to tell you this. They are crying in silence. But their tears speaks. Their tears speaks volume. And this is the time for them to rise. They're not going to beg you anymore. They will fight for what they believe in. The people of English-speaking Cameroon are going to rise up right now and fight for what they believe in. When they are armed and strong and trained and know what they want, we will know if they really want that independence now. People have pain in their hearts, unresolved conflicts in their lives, frustrations, unmet expectations, not being able to fulfill their dreams in life, not having their dream job. They don't have financial independence. They don't have enough money to take care of their bills. The pain in the diaspora is too much. And somehow you think if Cameroon was otherwise, you would have been better. No, brother, you still made it the same struggle that you ran away from back home. You still experiencing that in the diaspora. Some things have to change. And you have to take responsibility for your own life and for your own actions and for your own path and direction in life. No one is coming to do that for you. Even if you have an independent Ambazonia tomorrow, even if you have that independent, it doesn't guarantee that you will have freedom in your own life. It doesn't mean that you'll be able to manage your time well, manage your money well, show up early, cut off negative beliefs that are limitations and limiting beliefs that are holding you down. You cannot run away from those things. Those are all internal issues that you have to deal with. All right, if you like this video, you're gonna like this other episode, and you can watch it by clicking right here.